The Thompson family lived in a small apartment in Manchester. Michael was the father, and Emma was the mother. They had two children, a 15-year-old son named Daniel and an 11-year-old daughter named Sophie. Their life was simple but peaceful. Michael worked as a bus driver. Emma worked part-time at a bookstore. They were not rich, but they were comfortable. On weekends, they walked together in the park. Michael always carried Sophie on his shoulders. Daniel talked about football and school. At night, after the children went to bed, Michael and Emma sat in the kitchen with tea. Michael often looked at Emma and said, "I know life is not perfect, but I'm glad we built it together." Emma would smile and reply, "We don't need perfect, we just need us." Their love was quiet and mature. It was not dramatic, but it was steady. Then things slowly began to change. The company Michael worked for started having financial problems. Routes were reduced, drivers were fired. One cold November morning, Michael received a letter. His job was gone. At first, he tried to stay positive. "It will be fine," he told Emma. "I'll find something else." But finding work was harder than he expected. He sent many applications. Most of them received no reply. Some said he was overqualified. Others said they were not hiring. Weeks turned into months. Savings began to disappear. Emma started working more hours at the bookstore. She came home tired, but she still tried to smile. Michael felt ashamed. He was home all day while Emma worked. He cooked, cleaned, and tried to help Sophie with homework. But inside, he felt smaller each day. Daniel noticed the change. His father, who once laughed loudly, now spoke softly. Family dinners became quieter. One evening, tension finally broke. Michael said, "Maybe I'm just not needed anymore." Emma looked hurt. "Don't say that," she replied. "We need you. I need you." But fear had entered their home. Daniel stopped asking for new football shoes. Sophie heard her parents talking about bills. The warmth in the apartment felt weaker. Michael began avoiding friends. He did not want to answer questions about work. He spent long hours staring at job websites. Emma tried to stay strong, but she also felt pressure. She missed the evenings when Michael was confident and relaxed. Sometimes when he sat silently, she felt alone, even though he was right beside her. One night, Emma said gently, "Do you remember when we first moved here? We had nothing." Michael nodded. "We were scared then, too," she continued, "but we survived." Her words did not solve everything, but they stayed in his mind. A few days later, Michael saw a small notice in a cafe window. They needed part-time help for early mornings. It was not a big job. It paid much less than his old work. He almost ignored it. His pride hurt. But then he thought about Emma leaving early every day. He thought about Daniel pretending not to need things. He thought about Sophie's quiet face. He went inside and asked about the job. He did not feel proud when he started working there. He woke up before sunrise to prepare tables and clean floors. It was not the life he imagined. But slowly something changed. He began talking to regular customers. He felt useful again. It was small, but it mattered. The money was not enough to fix everything. They still had to be careful with spending. Emma still worked long hours. But the house felt lighter. One evening, Daniel scored a goal at his school match. Michael and Emma stood together watching. They held hands quietly. "I'm sorry things have been hard," Michael whispered. Emma squeezed his hand. "We're still here," she answered softly. Life was not suddenly perfect. They were not rich. They were still worried about the future, but they had learned something gentle and honest. Love does not remove problems. It simply makes them easier to carry. That night in their small kitchen, they drank tea again. Not because everything was solved, but because they were still together trying. And sometimes trying is enough.